all get recorded, and then we can put it out as a commentary track. But yeah, okay. So I'm firing up the movie, but okay, so I've got the movie right at the beginning, paused with
At what moment?
the start of it going.
What? I just have it as straight as 00. So I don't know what.
Okay, all right, I've got it at 002.
Okay.
All right, well, maybe before we get started on the movie, I think it would be fun, like, if you could introduce yourself, because like people hear me yammer a lot. It's always fun when I can have someone else on.
Right.
So I've known you since we were like kids. We both grew up in LA together. We've known each other a real long time. And you went off, joined the military, and now you're doing
Right.
other stuff. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
All right. Like Tiff said, we're both from Los Angeles. I think we met in freshman and undergrad. So it still shows our age, but we won't go any further than that with our ages. Yeah, after I just retired from active duty Air Force after 20 years, ended up here retired in Oklahoma City, in Oklahoma. No mountains, no big ocean to look at. And I've been working on my history PhD for the last
Okay,
couple of years. So right now it's getting ready for comprehensive exams, which is a lot.
cool. And then your PhD, what's your area of focus?
Uh, Big to small, military history, German military history, Second World War, the Holocaust, all that
All
dark
right. Well,
stuff.
so a really small area to get your head around.
Yeah, very much so.
Cool, cool. Okay. So the reason why I brought you in to watch this one is not only it'd be fun to watch a movie with you, but then also because of your military background, you're gonna have some observations that I won't. I know a lot about Jane Austen. I know a little bit about zombie movies, but not like a lot. But I feel like you could kind of give some insight into the time period and maybe some of the military tactics. I had
Right.
questions for you that we can look at later as the movie gets going, where like, why are these guys all out of uniform? But maybe it's the last days of war. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, let's get our movies all set up here. Let me find the right browser tab. Okay, and are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go to countdown.
All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1,
Two,
and we're
one,
going.
go.
So while it does all the boring intro stuff, so this movie is based on the book Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which is a mashup. I wouldn't call it like a rewrite or a remake. He literally took this guy, Seth Grahame-Smith, took the text of Jane Austen's masterpiece
Right.
and just put a bunch of zombies in it. The movie departs quite a lot toward the end, but toward the beginning, they get quite a lot right and they stick with it.
Yeah, I saw that book several years ago in Barnes and Noble. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Uh, like you said, like a mashup. I'm trying to remember if there was media in Hollywood try to kind of, they all follow each other. So I don't know if there was another thing pushing it forward. Here we go.
So to my eye, again, I'm not a military person, but I know a little bit about this time period. The uniforms here look pretty good.
Yeah, that looked like steampunk to me. That's got a
A little bit.
steampunk feel to it. So
The opening line of the book, it is a truth universally acknowledged that a zombie in brain with brains must be in want of more brains. That is a beautiful
right.
twist on the opening bit of the actual book, Pride and Prejudice. So
Okay.
you have a view of Chatsworth House, I believe. Either that or it might not be Chat, or maybe it's Matlock. I don't know. Anyway, what do you think of the fortifications here?
Uh well, again, like the outside looked very steampunk type of style, but there's a lot of metal and all the spikes. I guess again, this is like an zombie alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
So with
Those guys aren't
it
holding their
being,
guns right.
excuse me,
Those guys aren't holding their guns very well.
no, and I mean those are short barrel mu- uh, muzzle fire, so you have to load from the front. So,
Mm.
oops.
So they don't from the ladies' point of view. They're talking about the pristine young body, but we're really not getting a view here. Show don't tell. Show don't tell.
Yeah, I mean, the look that he gave him was uh
A little creepy.
very creepy. That's a good way to put it. Kind of the question I had when he came in was where where did he get that info from?
I mean,
Oh,
presumably, this is where it's weird. They describe him as Colonel Darcy, presuming some sort of military, but he kind of acts more like an inquisitor,
right,
which is a bit more of like a police. Although I would say this whist party is very period accurate, like the small tables, and you've got different groups of people hanging out. This
right.
scene is very, very accurate to entertainment of the period.
Yeah. But then they reference him, he's a colonel. I don't recall if they mentioned if he's infantry or cavalry, but he's not in uniform.
No, no, and the leather jacket is definitely not accurate.
Does he have
But it
yeah,
looks good. It was 2016. Come on.
yeah. What was I? Quiet. Yeah, if anybody wants to see what a colonel in the Red British Army, just look up the Duke of Wellington.
Oh yeah. There's quite a few pubs in England called the Duke of Wellington.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, popular, the Iron Duke. Popular dude.
Yeah.
So I do like this part where, using the technology available to him. He obviously
Hmm.
doesn't have modern technology at all. This is just as the Industrial Revolution is starting to change things. So,
Yeah.
relying on flies is clever.
Hmm. But then I thought, like, so does he have a farm of flies somewhere that
Like,
he
where
has
does
to
he get them?
pack it back? He's got
Yeah,
to pack it back in.
that's a plot hole that maybe, I don't know. It's kind of gross. Like maybe I don't need that one answered.
Yeah.
And so this one's a little different too, where the take they have on this that the zombies are only partially, and that's also true in the book. So there's a bunch of differences in this film versus the book.
Mhm.
But that the zombies don't transform really rapidly, and there's this kind of in between period where they're still mostly human. It's nice.
Right.
It's different from a usual zombie movie. Makes them a little more threatening. The thing that I don't like that happens here, they're doing Mr. Darcy's character dirty. He would not be disrespectful to the body, right? Like I
Oh,
see
okay.
someone with his role like doing his duty. This is a character who's very focused on duty and propriety. Yeah, like where he like kicks the head. Mr. Darcy would not do that. That's really disrespectful and it's unnecessary.
Right. And then you have to consider, well, it is a zombie, so I mean,
Well, it it was, but it was also a person. He's also at a party, like so in the actual Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy is proper to the point of like being way too stiff. He's way too full of himself. He's way too uptight. And
right.
he's so concerned with appearances that to the point of rudeness, right? So he's not the kind of guy who would kick a head across the floor because that's not dignified behavior. If you get what I mean.
Okay.
I see there's
I
a
got
there's
you.
a comment in here that this comes up later. That's some ropey CG. Um, but
Yeah.
there's a comment in here that I like this part too. This comes in later where there's this class distinction where the Bennett
Hmm.
girls only can afford to be sent to China for training, where the more fashionable place was Japan. So this opening sequence where it shows these cutouts on paper, this is
Yeah.
actually from the time period. There used to be these like kind of accordion style toys that you would get
Right.
that would
Yeah.
have illustrations, and then you would accordion them out, and you could see the different layers, and it would have
Okay.
different scenes that you could do. Sometimes comic, sometimes realistic, but I do like this little thing.
I I did like it. I mean, it's setting up the story, where everything started. So the fact that it had already been going on for a century, almost a century. S- So I mean, historically, I'm like, okay, so this is before the American Revolution. This is before the French Revolution. This whole
How would
starts
that have
both.
affected all that?
It's an alternate zombie timeline.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, so this one was the in between. So you have,
Hmm.
I mean, I understand the whole keeping London. It's historically and culturally important. I
Strategically,
the it,
though, is it a good choice?
uh,
I mean, did you see how much London was surrounded?
well, that's the thing. They reference it as the in between, almost like they cleared it out. So you could, it does have an allusion to no man's land from World War I. So
Hmm.
maybe they're pulling from that, but you could also have the scorched earth policy. It's a
Hmm.
tactic that's been going on for millennia that basically you um, remove, eliminate, kill, whatever, anything of use to the enemy, and it's just completely barren. So
Hmm.
I th-
Now,
I think that
strategically, so there's only the one bridge that allows you to get in and out of London. Do you think that's a good strategic option? Now, you would also have the Thames River. So
yeah. So
you'd
so the
have the
Thames,
river going into the country and out into the estuary in theory, because it doesn't seem like the zombies would do so well in water. I mean, I don't know, although they're mobile.
they're
So,
mobile, but that's
and
always
they
been
use
kind of a,
boats.
if they're
Yes.
intelligent zombies. So, and
So
that's the
many
thing.
interesting
Like,
possibilities.
yeah, maybe that's probably why they kept London, other than the cultural significance, is that it still has access to the outside world through the Thames.
Hmm.
But the single bridge, it's kind of one of those Murphy's laws of war, where like you make it easy to get, you make it hard to get in, means you also make it very hard to get out if you have to get out.
Hmm.
But for crowd control, I mean, look at how we do it for crowd control today. You try to minimize entry points.
Yeah.
So,
I like how instead of embroidery, they're all cleaning weapons.
and that's one thing, is like that would not be happening, right?
I don't know.
You're
I don't know. Like cleaning and maintaining the weapons, because like women have smaller fingers.
yes, but I mean, of the era, it's still a very gendered, structured society.
True,
So you're
true.
not you're
Now,
not
in
gonna
in the book,
have.
it makes it clear that their training was so that they could be able to defend themselves.
Oh, so it does have it in the book. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I will try to place the blonde actress. And she
I
was
don't know.
in
I have
the
to look up. She's one of those like, oh, I've seen her.
she was in the Amazon Prime series. It had 4 seasons about
Oh, okay.
Man in the High Castle.
Oh, yeah. So this scene didn't ring true to me for the book because the Bennett sisters squabbled, but they were never unkind to each other, and they always
Oh,
had each
okay.
other's backs. So
Right.
the younger ones were immature and a little bit obnoxious, but the older
Right.
sisters were never they were never unkind to each other. So I didn't like that exchange. They were a little bit too snipey right there.
Right. I mean, again, like if we're this since this is a zombie alternate timeline, after a
Yeah,
century, maybe that would have broken down more of the the gender structure. Like women can only do
maybe.
this, and you start blending it a little bit more. But
I mean, obviously, yeah, you'd have to be like a harder person, but the Bennett sisters love each other, and I feel like that
yeah,
we went a little too far there.
the movie doesn't, it hasn't shown other women being trained as that, does it? A little bit.
No, that is an area where the book is so long. This is the hard part about adapting it. They have to cut out like most of the other female characters, I think, to the
Right.
movie's disadvantage.
Okay.
For the most part, the costumes are pretty good. The hair is pretty good. There's still a lot, I would say, like a lot of modernisms that have crept into the style. Like all the dudes have Twilight hair. Um,
Twilight hair. I think I could probably say I still haven't seen those movies.
that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad they pointed that out. So a class thing that can be really hard to get. So Mr. Bingley, who will be like Jane's man. So his family came up in trade. His dad was a tradesman, not landed gentry. And so he made his money. So they're new money and they're really desperate to like establish themselves. Where like the Bennett sisters are old money, but they're running out of money. So they
Right.
have
Yeah.
like the credibility, but the Bingleys have the cash. And there's like this
Mm.
constant tension between them because of that.
Mhm. And here's the intrigue.
Well, I mean, that's what happens in a ballroom, right? Like there's no internet, so this is where the gossip goes down.
Yeah. And going back to like the old money, new money, that's going to be the Industrial Revolution, where it's
Hmm.
merchants, people with new money start challenging the social structure of the past. The
That's
aristocracy is not
a
going to like it.
huge theme all through Pride and Prejudice because like the Bingleys come from the north and they made their money in trade. That's all you know about them. So they're definitely coming out of that like new money industrial revolution. And then you have like Lady Catherine de Bourgh, who's like old nobility from the south, and huge tension between the groups.
Yeah.
I think the casting is actually really good. One problem you get in a lot of these costume dramas is the actors are usually way too old. This is actually the only production of Pride and Prejudice I've ever seen where everyone appears to be the right age. Like
Oh, really?
they're all young enough. Like,
Right.
not that the other actors are bad. Like Colin Firth is the quintessential Mr. Darcy, but he was 35 when he played the part, which is like about 10 years older. But everyone here appears to be like the girls are in their late teens to early 20s, and the guys are in their mid 20s. And
Right.
it's the first film version of this that I've seen that actually does that. Also, Mrs. Bennett is the right age and she's very pretty because, like, in the book, she's supposed to be like in her early 40s, but still really, really hot. And most productions have her kind of like verging on elderly and not
Oh, really?
kind of
Okay.
frumpy looking. And the character works a lot better if you play her as she's written.
Does it portray her also accurately from the book in the sense that she's almost uh, being overt and trying to marry her daughters off well, like
Well,
overly focused on money? I wonder if it just is
well,
it the right
she's focused on her daughter's safety and survival.
right?
Like they're not inheriting very much. And being a penniless spinster is a very precarious position because it's not like these girls can just get jobs or something. So she is obsessed with getting her daughters married, but she's not wrong. She is sillier in the book. She's a bit more
Oh,
of a silly figure, but like she's not wrong to want to get her daughters settled safely and know that they're going to be all right.
yeah, that makes sense. That's pretty blunt. It's almost like a polite blunt. I'm like, I did like
This
him,
this is
the
straight
actor
out
that
of the
played
Jane
Joseph.
Austen book. This scene right here, this is exactly, except Lizzie laughs.
Oh,
She
okay.
doesn't get all. She doesn't do that. She doesn't break anything, and she doesn't storm off. So that, but other than that, Darcy being pretty condescending, like, oh, she's tolerable, but not enough to tempt me. That's
Right.
right out of Jane Austen.
See, the zombies in this one are almost a mix of your mindless, old school zombies where they're mindless, but then a mix of they're kind of smart, or at least they have some sort of um
Well, their personalities are still there.
right.
And something weird happens right here. This is one of the imperfections in the movie. She tries to tell her something, and then the movie just like never follows up on it.
Yeah. And also the fact is that a okay, so that's a double-barreled uh flintlock muzzle loaded that has like a maybe max range of 25 yards and yeah, he could have just as much as blown her head off than anybody else's or barely hit the side of a barn.
Yeah, I would say so. I wouldn't imagine those are terribly accurate, right? Like,
No.
and it wouldn't blow up a whole noggin.
No, that's yeah.
Okay. This battle scene is actually decent. What I would have liked to have seen in the costume design is how fashion would have been affected by the plague, because Regency fashion was affected by the renewed interest in ancient Greece and Rome. That's why you get the sort
Right.
of Greek style drapings and the light fluttery fabrics. It would have been cool to see these dresses maybe have like an ability to be raised or torn away, and then maybe with like
Right.
Chinese style trousers underneath. Like,
Okay.
so they have more of a kung fu. I also would have liked to see some like, Hong Kong style kung fu in the action scenes, but generally the action scenes are pretty serviceable. I think all
Yeah.
of the actors could have trained a bit more, but they're fun.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing of the whole martial arts angle was from a certain
Like she
perspective,
would
I
have
get
tripped.
it.
I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. She would have tripped. You don't do a cartwheel in a silk dress. Go ahead.
Yeah. The thing is like zombies bite, so it's about close combat. And if you don't want close combat, which you want to create distance, you would focus more on firepower and distance.
Mm,
So I mean, going in close combat would be the least that you want to do in the zombie horde. You want to keep them away,
mm.
but
This line here. Now I'll allow it. In the book, Mr. Darcy doesn't speak that line aloud. He thinks it, but you obviously can't.
oh, okay.
Voiceover thinking is kind of cheesy in a film, but where he's like, so that he acknowledges that her figure is light and pleasing, but then the mashup adds in, that her arms are muscular, but not so much as to be unfeminine. That's actually a very Jane Austen-esque way to do that. I did like that
Really?
line. Yeah, no, it's definitely got like it's a good nod to Austen's wit.
And that's the thing I never realized. I've never seen Jane Austen. I'm aware of her, and yeah, I know the two famous, the 1995, and then the Kirsten Knightley version. I never got that there was. I just thought it was all very serious. Didn't understand there was a
No.
humor to it.
No, it's Jane Austen has a wicked wit. She's very, very funny. It's subtle and intricate, and there'll be kind of like callbacks to things. She exposes characters. This scene's also nice too, because this conversation happens between Lizzie and Jane, but it's in their bedroom. So it's
Okay.
nice that they've transferred it to a training session. I do like that. I would have liked this scene to be lit a little better so we could kind of see what they were doing a bit more.
It was a bit dark, yeah. But then again, it's no electricity down there, and
Yeah,
just in
no, it's
candlelight.
historically accurate, but I like me a good fight scene.
Yeah. There was a couple summers ago. I did took two cadets for a visiting Holocaust areas and went through a fort with all old fort, Sudetenland area. It's dark even in
Mm.
broad daylight. Yeah, scary.
So that is from the book where Mrs. Bennett refuses Jane the use of the coach because she's like, well, if it rains, I'll have to invite you to sleep over. So, and then she'll get to see him.
Was that Yeah. Well, that was I picked that up. That was the code of like if you're gonna stay over at the guy's place, you know, things
Well,
are
no, it's
going
more
well.
that she wanted to make sure that Jane would have the chance to see Mr. Bingley because
Oh, okay.
Jane had been invited to visit with the sisters, but Mr. Bingley
Hmm.
might be like out during the day or out
Oh,
shooting
okay.
or out doing stuff. But if they say, oh, no, no, come and stay in our guest room for the night, then she'll get to see him at dinner. So there's
Okay.
nothing untoward about it. It's, well, okay, it's definitely a sneaky, dirty move, but nothing
Right.
untoward will happen in terms of like the morals of the day.
Yeah. This whole scene was like, so you're in the countryside with zombies and you're not gonna send her with an armed escort,
Right?
something?
Also,
But
like that horse is fired. Like
yeah.
I would not keep a horse that was that skittish and would throw my daughter.
Hmm.
And the misfire, fairly common occurrence with flintlock weapons, right?
The what? Oh yeah, one
The
shot.
misfire on the pistol, like that would have been a common enough problem.
Yeah, those weren't very well made. I
And
think
she's
in
she's
most,
got 90s prom hair. That is not period
yeah.
accurate hair. It looks
So
great, but it's prom hair.
yeah. Now correct me if I'm wrong. Usually there's that rule of thumb in movies that when it comes to zombies, you don't make kids zombies. Isn't that kind of
Oh, you
a
know what though? It's so creepy. If you're gonna cross the line, I feel like this
it,
one's done well because baby zombie. Oh my gosh, that's
it
terrifying.
yeah.
Like, well, you can see why it leaves Jane so rattled. You know,
Hmm.
that's creepy.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about that flintlock. If it really was that prone to malfunction.
I have no idea.
Mm.
Oh, so we've got a comment. Wet powder, maybe. Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, it could have been maybe just a gunpowder.
Zombie baby in Train Spotting freaked me out. I saw that movie once, and that scene gave me nightmares. I could never
I don't.
watch it again.
Which one?
So, for those who've tuned in later, we are at minute 25 of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, roughly. So, thanks for
Hmm.
joining in.
Yep.
If you've got any questions or comments, just go ahead and throw them in there. So this is where we're back following the book pretty closely. Jane comes down with a nasty cold, presumably from getting soaked through on the way. Although I can't imagine the emotional shock of having to kill a zombie mother and baby would have helped her at all.
Y-
Like that alone would mess you up
Yeah,
pretty good.
it would. I mean, this scene shows him to be pretty ruthless in the sense of it doesn't matter who it. Mr. Miyagi callbacks to that one.
There's a
Uh,
couple of callbacks in this to films. I noticed that one too, and I was like, oh, that's this is a nice Karate Kid
Karate
reference.
Kid. Yeah.
You also I like the guy playing Darcy in this scene. You can see how against his will he is coming to admire Elizabeth, which is what happens in the book at first. That's his
Hmm.
pride, you know.
Right.
But yeah, where he's just like trying not to be impressed by her, and in spite of himself, he's getting kind of sucked in.
Well, I mean, when they first meet in the ballroom, she was intrigued by him as well. So
Yeah.
that's got to be messy. Like,
I mean, that's now she's got like bug guts all over her hands. So
and that's a thing. Like, you got a
I don't know if that's the
handkerchief or
flex
something.
she thinks it is. Unfortunately, the characters of Mr. Bingley's sisters are almost non-existent in this film, which is a shame because they're actually really, really important in the book. Mr. Bingley has one sister who's married, and she just like married this rich oaf who's kind of boorish. Like he's got money, but he has no manners, and he's just totally
Right.
uninteresting. The other one's single, and she really, really, really wants to marry Mr. Darcy. So she hates Elizabeth
Oh, so there's that
and
competition.
just super nasty about it. So you don't get any of that subplot. Well, it's not even a subplot, it's part of the main plot, but unfortunately they had to cut it out for time. Like you get a little in this scene, but not too much.
Hmm. So what does he reference mean by female art?
I think that that's the American screenwriter not describing things correctly. He'd probably mean like embroidery, foreign languages. So in this scene in the book, this conversation does happen where Miss Bingley is trying to show off what a good potential wife she would be, and so she talks about how to be called accomplished, a woman must have foreign languages, singing, music, dancing, all these things.
Okay.
And then Mr. Darcy, who's getting annoyed by this, says, well, and to this, she must also add the improvement of her mind through substantial reading, as Elizabeth is sitting there reading a book. And he does that to just be like, Miss Bingley, I'm not, like he's deliberately being a bit rude to her.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of like the class thing in there, where the Bingley sisters were able to train in Kyoto, which is apparently
Hmm.
cooler. Yeah.
Right.
And then she chooses a Chinese book to
That's
show that
the
she's proud of her credentials.
yeah. Well, that's definitely the Sun Tzu's The Art of War, one of the classics. So the thing is, it wasn't published into a European language until 1772,
Oh, well,
and it didn't
this would
make
be about 1813?
right. But it wasn't its own book in French. It was part of a collection of a series of volumes that um but it wasn't so it's anachronistic. It's not an individual book at this time in Europe. It doesn't make it into English until 1905. But
Hmm.
that's the reference. It's Sun Tzu. So yeah, he was a relatively unknown for a while. A couple scenes that they have him showing at night, I'm like, does he ever sleep?
I mean, this guy seems to, like, not have much chill. So, like, the way this character is written, he's got, like, 0 chill, so maybe not, no. Yeah, like how Mr. Darcy is just like, "Are you leaving? Please
Yeah.
leave." And Elizabeth is like, "Yes, we're leaving." So at this point in the story, they hate each other. Like,
Okay.
they hate each other. Like, where Darcy's at is, yeah, she is pretty hot and she's smart and she's funny and interesting, but I hate her. And she's like, "Oh, I just hate you. Like
Right.
you have no redeeming qualities. I just hate you."
In the book, is that tension because of Darcy sees her as kind of stepping out of her bounds, stepping out of her role in society, and kind of
He
being
had
a little
no, because they're technically of the same social class, so they're both members of the gentry. He is very, very wealthy gentry. He's the grandson of an earl, so he's the absolute highest gentry, and she's kind of like slipping toward the bottom because of her
right.
family's financial situation. So the working title for the book was actually First Impressions, and then
Oh,
Pride and Prejudice was later the title. So it's just that they both get terrible first impressions of each other. They both exhibit pride and prejudice.
okay.
They willfully misunderstand each other, to quote part of the book. And so the story is about how both of them have to undo their kind of ignorant preconceptions that they just dove right
Mhm.
into and actually find out who the other person is and not just go off of first impressions.
Right.
You get more creepy zombie kids.
And they're just kind of hanging out there. So this is where different parts. I'm like, where's the rest of the military?
Yeah,
Where is
yeah,
the? I mean, you have the British Army at home, and then you have the British Army in the colonies in the Empire, and of course, the
maybe.
Royal Navy is going to be the bigger one. But it's just like, where is everybody? Aren't they going to be doing sweeps and kind of trying to clean things out?
Yeah, it is a bit of a plot hole. Like that was kind of done as a throwaway joke, like, oh, the orphanage fell, but then they just keep driving by instead of cleaning it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the best casting in the entire movie. Um, Casting Matt Smith as Mr. Collins is
He was
genius because the character is both written and played as if he's in the original Pride and Prejudice book. This character is so oblivious, so clueless, so wrapped up in his own world. It wouldn't even occur to him to like change anything he did if there was a zombie apocalypse. And so I
right.
actually love that they played him this way. The only thing about this scene is this conversation would not have happened out in the open. But this scene's,
Okay.
I love this scene. It's very funny.
Yeah, he was pretty funny. Just kind of like quirky, very oblivious, but
He'd be perfect in a regular production of Pride and Prejudice in as this character. He's
mhm.
absolutely nailing everything about him.
It's almost like he's the opposite of Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy's very aggressive, very I don't want to say stoic, but very stern, and this guy's just kind of very aloof and
He's very he's very obsequious. He's like constantly name dropping that, that his
right.
patroness is Mr. Darcy's aunt and yeah. Yeah, so this conversation would have happened in private. This is breaking with all the social
Right.
norms of the time, but you got to make things quick.
Yeah, because this is kind of like openly ranking your daughters. We're like, yeah, you're the cutest. You're not that cute. It's like, oh, that's gotta hurt.
It happened in private.
Yeah. That just oh, let us know if our volume is good in the comments.
Oh yeah, we did some testing before we got started. It seemed like it was okay.
Okay. Like hell yes, I'm out of here.
Pretty much. So, and again, this is all from the book. This is exactly how it goes down. Um, now the so Mr. Collins is uh like a second cousin of Mr. Bennett, I believe, or first cousin once removed. I can't remember. It's anyway, he's going to inherit the house and everything. So the reason why Mrs. Bennett is like, will one of you please marry this guy? Is it would give the whole family a better chance of having somewhere to stay once Mr. Bennett dies. Otherwise,
Right.
they'd have to go live with somebody. But
You're right.
so if she can get one of them married to Mr. Collins, then that
It helps the
really,
rest of the
really
family.
improves their living situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so nobody's holding the guns, right? But that is like absolutely
Yeah.
standard for British films.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, see, this gets into the again, what type of zombies are we dealing with? You have your uh, really close range, and there's no kickback. They're like, I'm going to hold this standing straight up
Right?
without
Like, look at the
without
size of these girls. They would be knocked over by the kickback on
yes,
those rifles.
yes. There's no stance. You're not,
Yeah,
you're
there's
not
no
spreading
stance.
your.
They're not bracing themselves. They'd have a bruise on their shoulder for like a week,
Oh,
the way they were holding them too.
yeah,
But oh well, whatever.
yeah. Again, going back to the zombie thing, just like, is it the old Romero zombies from the 50s and 60s? And then you have your fast zombies from 20 days
28
after,
days later, that kind of thing.
20 days later, and then you have kind of like your somewhat smart zombies. I think what's the Will Smith movie? He's the last
Oh, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. It kind of
I Am
gives that
Legend.
little bit.
Yeah,
They still hold a little bit of their past personality.
a little bit,
You know,
or they're able to like cooperate
right.
that too. So
Again, Lieutenant, not in uniform.
hmm. Which I assume there'd be like that would be a problem, right? Like,
Uh, yeah, it's going to depend on the context, the situation, but I mean, he has looks like, there's the other rest of the military there, the army, and if he's on official business, he would probably be in uniform. So
mhm.
it seems that they just isolated Darcy and him not to be in uniform.
Yeah, which is a little weird. I mean, like, obviously they look cool and everything, but if they actually have roles in the military, they should be in uniform at some point.
Yes.
A running gag they added in for the Matt Smith take on this character, which I really like. It's not in the original book. He seems to be sort of obsessed with baked goods. Like he just brings that up right now. Like she's baking, and then later he like asks for more scones. And so it's like a nice little, just very funny character quirk they added to him that he's
Right.
just like, come on, there's muffins.
Yeah.
That's not how you hold guns. Oh my gosh. Like they're gonna be damaged.
Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely tell they don't like each other. Kind of reminds me of the scene from one of the last episodes of Band of Brothers, where you have
Mm.
Major Winters is sitting in the Jeep and his former Captain Sobel, he doesn't salute him because he doesn't like him. It's like, you salute the rank, not the man.
Yeah. So I don't know where they filmed this, but this looks pretty good. Like you saw the woman in the background using
Mhm,
the village water pump. That's a nice
mhm.
detail. One thing you see a lot in little villages here is they still have the pumps. They're now defunct, but they
Right.
sometimes have them done up as kind of like just a nice little visual spot. They'll put benches, or they've reworked them as flower planters. But village water pumps were incredibly important in English villages because that was where you got your water, unless you
Yeah.
had a big enough estate or house that you had your own pump on site. But most people would have to walk to the village center and get their water pumped there, and it was a big hangout
Yeah.
spot. So small detail, but a very nice one.
Yeah. That reminds me, I think one of the very first like statistical studies was during the Black Plague, where one guy figured out that the Black Plague was like coming through from the water. Was it
Oh,
the
and it was
Black Plague?
John Snow during the cholera outbreak in London. It was
Yes,
the
yes, that one.
1840s. You should check that out. You'd think it was interesting. He's
Yeah.
the father of epidemiology.
She likes him.
Well, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, he's John Huston's grandson, so come on.
Mhm.
But yeah, so she does like, yeah. And that's another one of those first impressions. Her first impression of Mr. Wickham is
Right.
very good. He's
That
handsome, he's
makes sense.
charming, he has a sob story, you know.
Mhm.
So she falls for it. with his little dweeby wave.
Yeah.
He really, really nails the character of Mr. Collins so well because he's not as like outright off-putting. Some interpretations of the character have been so gross and slimy that
Oh, really?
later when a woman does want to marry him, you feel terrible for her. He kind of nails the right amount of he is ridiculous. He is not attractive, but he'll do if he has to, and that's the case
Right.
for Charlotte Lucas. He'll do.
Hmm.
Oh, she's another sadly underdeveloped character. They didn't have time for the side characters in this, and I almost wonder if this movie would have done better as like a limited TV series, so that they could have had time
Right.
to develop these characters in the way that they deserved.
Right.
But in the book, Wickham doesn't show up at the ball, but this conversation happens later, so they're just
Okay.
condensing.
Yeah. Socially unaware of what's going on. This was like he's way too into this.
I mean, that's really Mr. Collins's biggest problem is he just wants to get married.
Oh, okay.
But he hasn't really his main reason for getting married is that his boss told him he should. And then he thinks that it's a good idea to set an example for others. And the actual like propriety of the match is literally a third concern.
Right.
So that's really the problem that makes him kind of off-putting is he doesn't actually care who he gets married to. He just wants to get married.
Hmm.
And a girl can smell that. She's just like, I'm sorry, you're not actually into me. You
Right.
just want me to do something for you, which not really a great way to start off a marriage.
No.
He looks so hopeful. She's not going to say boyfriend.
Yeah. He didn't like that he touched them either. So Mr. Darcy has he even changed his outfit yet?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so Mr. Darcy would have, well, actually, no, he has changed his coat. He's not wearing, no,
It's
the
all
coat
black
he's
though. Yeah.
wearing is totally wrong for the period. It looks almost like an 1880s frock coat, but he did change.
Hmm.
So this part where Mrs. Bennett has a little bit too much and gets a little
Right.
loose-tongued also happens. Very common occurrence at balls. The punch would flow. And so she does that. That's the one moment in the book where she gets kind of openly vulgar about like, but it's not really it's not totally about the cash. She just wants to know that her daughters are going to be taken care of. So it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
she wants to see them well settled so they can have the same living standard they've always had. It's not totally about the money. It's,
Hmm.
you know, I like that. It's
He's
very
like,
British. Where like
I
the
have,
servant like doesn't leave, sir,
I
and
have
then
to hold
gets
this
totally
weapon.
chewed up.
Yeah. Again, it's like, where's the security in a ball like this? You're in a place with zombies. You just gonna not have people posted everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the other like what they've been hanging down here the whole time and nobody's noticed.
I mean, of course, you do find out something later that would explain how the security's been breached. Because
Right.
there is a plot twist coming. We won't spoil it for anyone
Oh
watching
yeah.
just yet. There is someone at the ball
Oh,
who could
that's
have
right.
caused this, who was able to get past
Mhm,
security.
mhm, mm.
His hands would have been burned.
Yeah, that would have been hot.
But yeah. I like that method of zombie dispatch. So
Hmm.
I'm not questioning the method, but they should have had him maybe like kick the door and then his shoes smoke or something. But that
Hmm.
iron door would have absolutely burned his hand.
I mean, the scene, like he's almost willing to kill his friend, shows his
Well, he's not happy about it.
right.
And then he does go take him for medical treatment. But you're right. He is willing to do what is necessary, which
Hmm.
in a time like this, I mean, it is necessary.
Right. That's often the trope, right? In these type of movies, like they care too much about the person, and it kind of lets them go, and then it creates
Hmm.
problems.
Well, that's what happened at the beginning, where they didn't tell Mr. Darcy about the niece,
Right.
and then everyone got killed.
Hmm.
So, there's a mean girl moment that happens here, where in her letter to Jane, Caroline Bailey implied that her brother wants to marry Miss Darcy.
Hmm.
Um, you know, so she's kind of like trying to be like, you guys stay away, because she wants Mr. Darcy to, Caroline wants Mr. Darcy to marry her, and then she wants her brother to marry Miss Darcy, and then they marry into this super rich gentry family, and they get all the credibility. So, oh, I have launched into an ad.
It's like awkward.
Well, and you can see the younger sisters laughing because they think the whole thing's hilarious. They're kind of
Hmm.
too young. They're like, 15 and 16.
Right.
So they don't take any of this seriously at all. And Elizabeth does get thrown under the bus by her mother in the book like this, where she's just like, nope, you must stay here and hear what he has to say.
Right. Listening a bit.
I guess
He's like,
no
wait,
swords in home. I mean, he is a preacher, so
but like she told me no. Why? I'm awesome. You ruined a good weapon. What are you doing?
I mean, strictly speaking, if you go off of pure logic, this is a very good solution to everyone's problems. And so this is a huge component of the plot of Pride and Prejudice, where you have this tension between what's the basic unit of society? Is it the family or is it the individual? The correct
Hmm.
choice for Elizabeth's family is for her to marry this guy. She's not rich. She's not particularly well educated. Um, like the Bennets are loving parents, but they aren't terribly responsible. Like all five of the Bennett sisters don't actually, they're not, they just kind of let their daughters do whatever they want. When they grew up, they didn't have a governess. They weren't taught
Hmm.
any particular skills that would make them especially attractive or interesting. Like, so they don't have a lot to leverage.
Right.
So to get a good offer, so like, who will maintain you when your father is dead, right out of the book. Um, Pathetic spinster, not so much, but
Hmm.
yeah, the parents aren't the most practical. They have made some mistakes, and those mistakes are catching up to them.
Makes sense.
The lines they didn't include, which kind of makes me sad, is that Mrs. Bennett says to Lizzie, "You must marry Mr. Collins or I will never see you again." And then Mr. Bennett says to Lizzie, "Well, you have an unhappy choice because if you marry Mr. Collins, I will never see you again," which is basically saying to Elizabeth, like, I know we're in a tight spot, but I do not expect you to give up your integrity and like marry someone that you genuinely don't want to be with. Like, that would be awful. You'll be
Mhm.
miserable. You'll be secure, but you'll be miserable. So they didn't include that line, and I wish they had.
Uh, this is like that's a callback to Indiana Jones in the map.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that one. So Elizabeth would not have jumped on the horse with him and just like taken off. That would have been very improper.
Yeah. Again, like this is in the in between that supposed buffer zone. It's like, why are there people here?
Yeah. I don't know. This scene's a little weird. So this is where it actually departs from the adaptation in the book. I've been rereading it. I Yeah. So this is where it's kind of like going pretty far away from Pride and Prejudice and zombies in terms of what happens with Mr. Wickham's character and all of that.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's an interesting conundrum. Like, what would you do with a bunch of zombies who were still partly human?
Right. He's moving fast. I can tell you that.
What's that?
He's moving fast.
Yeah, he is. What time are you at? I think we got off by a couple of seconds because I had an ad a few minutes ago. Are you at 57 minutes?
I'm at 56:20.
Oh, okay. All right, I think we're back on track then. Yeah, so this scene does happen where Charlotte comes to be fair to Charlotte, she immediately comes to Lizzie to talk about it. Um,
Okay.
and she does explain like, look, I'm not romantic, like, because she's in a very similar position to Elizabeth, doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't, and she has
Mhm.
even fewer options where to go. Like, she's even like slightly below where the Bennets are. So she's like, he's not a bad guy, he's not mean, he won't be unkind to me, I just want a comfortable home. And so
Mhm.
she ends up kind of setting up a situation for, now in the book she tells Elizabeth that she's been bitten. So she just
Oh.
wants the last few months of her life to be pleasant.
Oh wow.
which
Okay.
is funny. And then that plays out later when Elizabeth comes to visit them in Kent, and Mr. Collins is so oblivious that he doesn't even notice that his wife is turning into a zombie.
Oh
Like,
really? Okay.
it's very funny. It's no, it's a nice way of dealing with that. Where Charlotte's like, well, I might as well marry him. I'm going to die anyway, right?
Right.
Like,
He's like,
so it works. Yeah, so when Charlotte asks Elizabeth to come and visit her at her new home. So that's why she's ended up right here at Rosings Park, which is where Mr. Darcy's aunt lives. I think Lena Headey is excellent casting in this role. She's got the kind of steeliness that you need for the
hmm
role. Although something weird happens with her later that I'm not really sure. That's a good pratfall. I don't know if that was improvised or what, but it's
right. Yeah.
very Mr. Collins.
Did he just growl?
I think so. He really got into this role, didn't he?
Yeah. He's like, dude, your betrothed is right next to you.
In the book, Lady Catherine has the expectation. So her sister is Mr. Darcy's mother, and
Okay.
Mr. Darcy's parents are both deceased. But the expectation was always that Mr. Darcy would marry his cousin, Miss Anne, there. And she's kind of
hmm
very sickly and boring and quiet and not interesting. I don't even know if she actually has any lines in the book. And so she's kind of this representation of this like noble inbred who
Right.
like the bloodline
Yeah.
is diminishing because like clearly these people haven't been like if your family tree don't branch, you might be English nobility. You do like a whole Jeff
That
Foxworthy thing on that.
yeah, that definitely becomes a problem.
This is where it's kind of completely departing from Pride and Prejudice as well as Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Like this is all new plot, but I love again
Right.
Mr. Collins just sitting there like just enjoying the crumpets or muffins or scones or whatever those are.
hmm Mr. Darcy's already showed his disapproval of the plan, right? I think he
Well,
said,
Mr. Darcy doesn't like Mr. Wickham and wouldn't accept
yeah,
anything Mr. Wickham said, but he has very good reason not to trust him.
yeah. If you notice the flag way in the back,
Uh-huh.
that is very Prussian. I looked it
Oh,
up.
okay.
That is like 90% the Prussian eagle crest.
Well, I mean, weren't Prussian mercenaries and also just military advisors. I mean, they were the best in this period, right? Like as far as land army. I mean, obviously
nah,
Royal Navy rules the seas, but the Prussians were always pretty top notch in terms of army.
they've gone in cycles. You had
Okay.
Frederick the Great was good again, early 1700s, and then they fell. They got then you have Napoleon pretty much tops it for a while, and then back in the mid 1800s, the Prussians come back on top. So it's like the
Mm.
Prussians early, then the French with Napoleon, and then German unification. Uh, 1871 with Moltke the Elder, he puts them back on top. So
Okay.
it goes back and forth. But I just noticed it like, huh, that flag looks familiar. Yeah, it's like 90% the same.
Well, it also looks cool and scary. So,
Yeah,
and
and they
Lady
had
Catherine
black.
is cool and scary.
Yeah, they're wearing all black.
Yeah.
Goats. Kind of referencing you mentioned referencing their family tree not branching very much. That's somewhat of an argument with uh Kaiser Wilhelm II. He wasn't very smart, very emotional. So because of again uh, the semi inbreeding with all the royalty in Europe were all connected. They were all
Oh
cousins and
yeah.
second cousins. I mean, all the I think there's a picture like in 19 early before World War One where like all the kings of Europe were like all first cousins, and they went to I think Queen Victoria's either death or something in Britain. They were all together for the last time before the war.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, he William II was not because probably a little bit of that family line just was not a good leader.
Mm. Yeah, so I don't know. I kind of don't like what the screenwriter did here, where he took the book and then he wanted to like make it Pride and Prejudice and zombies, like, and and he wanted like the kind of the zombie war to come to the forefront. Where what made so like this book is a gimmick. It is. It's
Right.
a gimmick, but it's a funny gimmick, and the reason why it works is because it doesn't actually stray from the plot. It
Oh,
keeps
okay.
the plot and the characters intact, and then the zombie stuff is woven in. And so you see how it affects the world and everything, but it it really it really departs here to make it more about like the big battle at the end, which is kind of more like that's definitely in the director's wheelhouse. But I feel like the thing that keeps this movie from being like this could have been a total classic.
Mm.
It should have been co-written by, someone who can do all the Hollywood blockbuster stuff and the action stuff, but it should have been written by someone who really understands Jane Austen as well, or at least
Mhm.
had like a script consultant come in and be like, there's enough things that it just breaks it in
Right.
a few places. And like Wickham having free access to Rosings is just there's no reason that would happen. It's
Mhm.
really weird, and it goes against everything that the other characters would have allowed. Like Lady Catherine would
Right.
not have allowed this guy anywhere near her property at all. That's it. Although the scene coming up, I think, is an example of what they get right, and it's
Okay.
very, very funny. It's interesting contrasting the way this one is played with the way it was in like the 95 miniseries,
Right.
because exactly the same character stuff happens, though one is a verbal battle and this one's obviously
Right.
not just verbal.
No.
But he's just as condescending. In
And
vain I have struggled.
that's the thing. Like, dude, you're not setting yourself up for success here. You're
No,
below.
no,
You're
it's like
below me. You're below me. You're not really as pretty as I want you to be. But hey,
yeah, like she gets two horrible proposals in this book.
right.
Like Her proposal from Mr. Collins is like, she's not even a factor or a consideration. She's just an object. And then in this one, it's just like total disdain. But yeah, the dialogue in this scene is right out of Jane Austen. It's all very, very accurate. And he plays that well too, where he's like, "Oh, I didn't actually think you were going to say no."
Yeah.
I was unprepared for rejection. And the fact that like he doesn't even try to stop talking. He's just like, no, I'm going to explain myself. It doesn't matter what you're throwing at me. It's just like it's a fire iron. Like, let's do this. But you know, obviously he is bigger than her. He is stronger than her. He could take her out. So he's still exercising a certain degree of restraint, which is also funny.
Yeah, I think they did a good job. You can correct me that they didn't make any of these women girl bosses.
No. I mean, there might be one or two moments where you see them physically doing things, but I think kind of toward the end you see a little bit of that. But no, there are no girl bosses in here. Like they are doing things that they're physically capable of.
Right.
I mean that punch was pretty intense, but this scene's also hilarious.
It is funny.
Like, you know, and you can see where he is using defensive maneuvers with her. He's not attempting to attack her, so he is showing restraint.
That's just like, oh, hey.
I feel like that bit was very nicely delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
At the same time, I thought they were like, are they just going to start kissing like in anger? Just kind of like
not right now.
Overcome the tension.
Not quite yet. He is in love with her, and he is still too proud and resentful to love her correctly. He desires her. He is attracted to her. He doesn't love her yet. Because like, you know, real actual love isn't going to be so selfish and condescending. You can't actually love someone while you despise everything about who they are. And she hates his guts because she thinks he ruined Mr. Wickham, and she knows that he broke up Jane and Bingley. So she hates him right now, like hates.
So there's no. I mean, at the beginning of the movie, there's like an intrigue, you know, when they meet at the ball, but very quickly she's like, 100%. This guy's an asshole, kind of thing. Just like
so he's very attractive. Like she notices that he's tall and handsome and all of that, but as soon as she has an interaction with him, she's so put off by his pride and his disdain. So, and any attraction just completely fizzles. And then it's not till now this scene. This is a direct reference to the 1995 miniseries. That is so funny that they threw that in.
Right.
Because there's this scene where Mr. Darcy dives into a pond, and then, you know, all the ladies get the vapors from seeing Mr. Darcy in his sweatshirt. You know?
Got it. Yeah.
So the fact that they included that, like, this movie knows what it is. Like, they knew what they were doing. The fact that they threw in that reference was like much appreciated. It's silly and it's fun.
So in the original book, she hates his guts. At what point does something rekindle within her?
Well, she gets this letter where he opens up and explains to her. He's like, he can see how his pride and reserve, like he's so unwilling to talk about his business with anyone that it's led to misinformation and other people getting hurt, right? So he does open up to her and he explains that Mr. Wickham is actually a loser. Um,
Right.
and so she believes this letter. She does believe it. Like he provides enough information and there's no reason for her not to believe it. And then she kind of looks back and things add up in her mind where she's like, oh, why did Mr. Wickham do that? Like, why did he do that? Um, and so it all adds up for her. And that's very difficult for her at first. But as soon as she realizes the truth, she drops Mr. Wickham and she's like, okay, well, he can just go be in the militia and I'm just gonna,
Right.
you know, yeah. So at this point, it breaks down some of her basis for hatred.
Right.
The other problem too is that Jane is very reserved and shy. And so to someone who doesn't know her well, you could think, oh, well, maybe she isn't into Bingley. And so that's what Darcy thought. Is it like,
Hmm.
well, this Jane girl probably is only after him for his money. She's not really in love with him. Whereas her emotions just weren't as obvious to someone who didn't know her very well.
Right.
So that was where Mr. Darcy realized that he'd messed up, is that, Jane actually is into Bingley and he is into her, and they should have, he shouldn't have meddled.
I like that line. I was in the middle before I knew I began. That's a good one.
Nice St. Paul's
Mm.
Cathedral in flames silhouette.
Yeah.
But he would be in uniform, right?
Yes, he would be in uniform, and that's
And
the
he's
other
a
thing.
colonel. So who would be commanding this? This is where, like, you can help me out. Like, would a colonel be commanding people in like cannon fire
Yeah,
and positions?
yeah, he could be
Okay.
commanding. He'd be commanding uh, a division equivalent or a division, but that's one thing I noticed about this is like there is like nobody above him.
Mm.
Where is the generals? Where is the field marshal?
Um, it's
There's
it's in
like
the budget that they didn't get in the movie for extra characters.
right. Or I mean, they don't even. I don't know if they reference any army hierarchy
Yeah.
off scene. Like, oh, field marshal or general so and so said we should do this, and like, there's just nobody outside
Yeah.
of him.
Now, this
Again,
is
like I
another way
said,
where they rewrote it. So in Jane Austen's original book, and then also in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, um, Wickham and Lydia, the youngest sister, who she's like, I think she's just 16, she elopes with him or
mm,
runs. They run off together, but they're not actually married, and so this causes a huge problem. They have to find them. And Mr. Darcy intervenes and forces them to marry so the family can maintain their respectability. But he does it all behind the scenes. He doesn't tell anybody. Like
oh,
Elizabeth
okay.
only finds out that Mr. Darcy fixed everything because her sister blabs, right?
Hmm.
And so that all gets changed, probably because people have the ick factor about a dude in his late 20s running off with a 16-year-old.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
this scene is strange, and I don't know why this happened. Lady Catherine should have been the one who battles with Elizabeth, because she does show up at the house to be like, hey, I've heard a rumor that Mr. Darcy likes you and you need to tell me that's not true and promise me you'll never marry him. And
right.
so they have this spectacular war of words. I don't know like why Lena Headey didn't do the battle in this scene, because they just kind of shoehorn in this guy. This is the one girl boss bit. There's no way. I mean, Lily James is lovely and she's really playing this role well, but she can't take that guy. Like he'd break her in half in 3 seconds, right? So I
Yeah,
don't know if Lena Headey was like unable to do an action scene for
it's
some reason, but this scene is very very weak because the women don't fight, and then she like gets this backup guy to handle it for her. So I wonder if this was like a production change that got forced by circumstances. I'm not sure.
right.
It just doesn't make any sense why Lady Catherine would not battle for herself. She simply wouldn't want anyone else to fight.
Yeah,
She's
and she
fully
just called
capable.
and she called the henchman Williams. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
that's
Wilhelm. Yeah,
Wilhelm. That's Prussian right there. So
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, she is smaller and faster, and they do show her like using the more familiar territory because this is her house. But still, if this guy landed one punch, she would be absolutely crushed.
Yeah.
Like, he's got her by the throat. She's done. Like, she's unconscious. So yeah, I don't know. So something about this feels
Yeah.
like they had to make a last minute change and they didn't have a lot of time to think about it.
It's right. Oh,
And now she'll be in trouble because she broke her mom's house.
yeah. I mean, they kind of gave that she's able to fight zombies, at least according to the portrait in her own hall. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if she was unwell or I don't know who, injury. I don't know. Something feels odd. There's just no reason why Lady Catherine wouldn't have done her own fighting.
mhm.
But oh well. So this is another strategic thing that kind of feels like a plot hole where this is where like the Hollywood writer took over. Okay, if all of London has fallen and all of London is taken over,
Which
if
is
okay, so
fast.
if the undead take the bridge, England will be lost. So why isn't the bridge destroyed now? Other than the script needs it to not be.
Yeah, it's
Like you'd blow up that bridge, right?
yeah. If everything's already gone, the heads of states, Parliament, the royalty, if they're all gone,
Then
you get rid
yeah,
of the
and that
bridge.
bridge is the one thing that would allow them to invade the rest of your territory. Like you,
Well, again,
although I
yeah,
guess you can see that there's like soldiers evacuating still. Like they're trying to mop up. So I don't know. Like I feel
they're
like they could
trying.
have been clearer about why that bridge hadn't been destroyed yet.
Mhm.
And again, out of uniform, and that's going to work out really badly for Mr. Bingley here.
Yeah. Yeah, because if London's already taken, it becomes a siege. You sh- you seal off the city and you just let them starve to death.
Yeah, I mean, you'd kind of have to, right? It's like at a certain point, if I don't know that's got to be an awful military decision to make. Is like, when the territory is lost, at what point do you just go, okay, we're abandoning that, and whoever's left here, I mean, it's
Right.
probably why historically civilian casualties are so high in battles, is that you probably have to leave behind so many people as you pull your troops out.
Yeah, if you're besieging a fortress or a city, you're just trying to starve them out. So the biggest threat, if you're the besieging army, the one surrounding the the fortress or the city, is just make sure nobody comes from outside to come get you. So
Mm-hmm. It was actually a nice shot with all of the hands poking out of the ground. Like,
yeah, Potter's Field.
it's a nice practical effect because so this is the one area where it kind of comes back to the actual novel because in the original novel, Elizabeth goes on vacation with her aunt and uncle, and then she runs into Mr. Darcy while she's on vacation, and then they kind of reset their relationship and actually get to know each other properly. Like they let their guard down and start
Right.
falling in love a bit. And then the letter arrives going, oh, Lydia's run off, so then
Right.
Darcy goes, so they obviously have to
Mhm.
return home quickly. And Elizabeth assumes that Mr. Darcy will never want to have anything to do with her. And he just disappears, because she thinks, well, like, my family's tainted now. So there's no way anyone's going to
Mhm.
want to marry any of us. And he wouldn't want to connect himself with our family. But then he does the right thing. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, so someone just jumped in. Yes, so we are watching Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. We are currently at 1:23, 1 hour 23 minutes. So yes, this is commentary because for copyright reasons, we're not going to show the movie. We would not be allowed to do that. So you can watch along with your own copy, or you could listen to the commentary. For those who joined late, this is my friend Miguel Lopez. He is retired U.S. Air Force and currently working on his PhD in history. So he knows all kinds of
Yeah.
interesting stuff that I don't, that is relevant to historical battles and fighting zombies.
Yep. That's kind of the joke. There's only two groups of people you can ever make fun of without consequence: Nazis and zombies. So is this location like the church Lazarus? Is that actually in the original Pride and Prejudice, or is this an add-on?
No, that's not in the original, but no. So what happens is Lydia had been in Brighton. The militia had left town to go to Brighton, and Lydia got invited by one of the officers' wives to come and party in Brighton for the summer.
Okay.
And Elizabeth told her dad, please don't let her go. She's super flirty. She's going to get in trouble. And her dad's like, nah, I got her, let her go because she'll realize how unimportant she is because none of the guys will want her because she's not rich. But then she can have some fun and I don't have to pay for it. So that's when Lydia and Wickham hook up and then they disappear in London. The first letter that Lydia sends indicates that they intended to go up to Scotland where the marriage laws are a little more lax. Like you have to post the bans and like do things properly in England, but
Mhm.
in Scottish law, you can just get married. It's like it was like the Vegas. Like
Right.
if you're looking
Okay.
at sort of like 18th, 19th century Britain, going to Gretna Green, Scotland, it's the equivalent of like in America saying they went to Vegas.
Right. Okay.
But then they don't. They just go to London and shack up, which is not cricket. So Mr. Darcy goes to London, hunts them down, forces them to get married, pays off the worthless Mr. Wickham, buys him a new commission in a northern regiment, so he will be far away from everyone. But then it means everything's been respectably settled enough that
Mhm.
now marrying Elizabeth is fine, right?
Okay.
So, so there isn't the St. Lazarus Church in the original novel, but there is the idea that Wickham and Lydia are together in the London area, and he does have to go and find her. Although obviously they changed it because, like, yeah, it gives people the ick. It is
Yeah.
really by modern standards. So in the book, it's very clear that Lydia was the one who instigates the relationship. Like she wanted to
Mhm.
be with Mr. Wickham, and she's very, very happy to be married to him. So if anything, Mr. Wickham is going to be punished by now having this unbelievably silly, shallow wife who's going to spend all his money and be no kind of asset at all. But it's still gross because she's like a lot younger than him, and by modern legal standards, their marriage would not be legal at all. Like,
Okay.
So
Right.
yeah. What time are you at again? Because this just slipped in another ad for me.
126:17.
Okay. All right. Now we're caught.
Classic reveal of the enemy plan.
Yeah. He's Bond villaining big time here, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, so they do have conversations, but they happen off camera in the original novel. Like you don't Elizabeth doesn't, so that the book's written in the third person perspective, but you never find out the only stuff you learn about the conversations that happen is what Lydia tells Elizabeth, but you don't ever see the showdown between Darcy and Wickham. That's, you have to imagine that, but that's probably for the best, because it would not have been a pleasant conversation, and
Right.
probably a lot more potty mouth than Jane Austen would have been allowed to use.
Mhm.
It was a pretty decent looking zombie makeup.
Yeah. He moves behind the gate.
What's that?
He moved behind the part of the gate where it would have been a harder time for the bullet to go through.
Yeah.
But
And then, smart tactical moves. So now the zombies are just
yeah,
all feral and harder to, like, they're no longer logical. But I guess, I don't know, that's kind of a trade-off.
yeah.
Like, Mr. Wickham doesn't have his army anymore, but you now have a whole pack of, like, feral, insane zombies running around. So
Mhm.
I do think that's a good choice of a weapon if you just basically have to have one and you're out of bullets, like, a long axe with a spike on the end.
Yeah, especially if you gotta go for the head.
Can't go wrong switching to the katana, though. Very classic.
Mm.
Just saying, if I knew I had to go into a zombie battle, I'd at least have my hair in a ponytail.
Yeah.
Bun would be more practical. Like, that long, loose hair, zombies can just grab that. Yeah, it's hard. I know setting this at night probably saved a lot on the budget, but it just doesn't look as good as it could.
Right. And then it's same as like, why are the zombies all just ignoring them?
That's just saying it's time, sir. Again, this guy's not in uniform, and he's making an emotional choice. So, okay, speaking with your military background, Mr. Bingley is refusing to blow the bridge because of his emotional attachment to the people who will be left behind the lines. For not doing it, what sort of punishment would a guy like that suffer, maybe historically and in modern times? Is this court martial territory? Is he going to be shot?
At this time, yeah, he could get shot. It depends on it's on the level of what level of not obeying orders is it going to be. It could be imprisonment, it could be decommission. That's more of a maybe more modern term, or be shot.
Hmm. I mean, these days you get court-martialed, or
Yeah, it's at least for the not knowing where
depends
you
on
are.
the level of dereliction of duty?
Yeah, the level and the it's very illegal now to in the U.S. military is the UCMJ code of military justice is going to determine that. Um, but like in World War One, before they really understood PTSD, they treated that as cowardice and they were
Mhm.
shot.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
General Patton certainly did in World War II.
yeah, the whole slapping of the soldier in North Africa.
Yeah. I mean, if you come from a certain generation and then you haven't suffered shell shock,
Yeah.
you know, nice. Yeah, I can always appreciate a good dismemberment from horseback.
Hmm.
Although I don't know how could a sword do that. So he's got a wool uniform on. She's using her dominant arm. If she's got a nice sharp blade, can you get all the way through a wool uniform and muscle and bone and wool uniform, like clean cut?
Probably not, but then that's the not necessarily a samurai sword, but it looks like it.
Mm,
But then again, he is a zombie, so who knows the state of his flesh.
mm. Oh, that's true. That's true. He might be a little rotten, but the wool might be sturdier than his skin.
Yeah, definitely. And they've been battling probably for a few hours already, so you're gonna be
Oh,
tired.
I see a message from someone in the chat. Yes, so I am keeping an eye on the chat. We are watching the film and giving commentary. So yeah. Oh, and then the bridge is finally blown.
Yeah.
I can't imagine you'd be very well off if you were close to that. Just
No.
eardrums perforated for sure, right?
Yeah, and then you'll be having your engineers rigging that with explosives and
So this scene I think would have been a little bit stronger if Mr. Darcy had woken up during the scene. He
right.
I feel like it's very well played. Like Lily James is actually quite a good actress. I'd be nice to see her get to do. She's
Hmm.
had like some roles, but I feel like she hasn't had her real chance to shine yet. But she's quite a good actress. She was very
Yeah.
good in the only Disney live action remake that I like, which is the Cinderella one, directed by Kenneth Branagh. She was very
Okay.
very good in that. Really really embodied the character just right.
The main actress here.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, she was in that. That's the only Disney live action remake that I like. The rest of them are just really
You didn't like the Beauty and the Beast one?
no, no, like why? Why? It was the first animated film ever to be nominated for Best Picture, just like as a movie, right? Like they have an animated category now, not that the Oscars mean much these days, but there's no reason to remake them. They're just a cynical cash grab. And then
It
they
is,
shoved in
yeah.
a bunch of extra stuff that you just don't need.
Hmm.
Yeah. But no, this very, very sweet moment. She really loves him. But it would have been nice if he woke up for the kiss. Would have been a little more meaningful.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Is like, is he actually dead, or is it's gonna? Because
I
again,
think
I
they're
don't.
trying to
I
like leave it hanging, but it's like, of course he's gonna be alive.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
Well, again, I don't know the Pride and Prejudice story, so I didn't have that
oh,
already literature background. I don't know the end of their story from.
oh, well,
So
maybe
I'm
I'll
like,
leave that hanging so you'll read it.
right. Among all my other books I got.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so now it shows the new order of things, but it doesn't zoom out enough on the map. Like what happened to London? Is London just gone? Um,
I mean, it kind of implies that everything's gone. The royal family, the government.
yeah. So I wonder in such a state, you would have the county governments.
You would have that, and that's the thing. You would have the empire being pulled in to maintain control and to secure the British Isles themselves.
Well, and there were plenty of surplus royals, so you would have had someone to pull in. You know,
Yeah,
if
some sort
uh,
of
if
lineage
George
to
III
pull.
and the Prince Regent were gone, there would have been some cousins, but they might have had to have been imported at this point because well, yeah, there were some, but I would
Ireland
say like
invades.
in the 18th and early 19th century, they were very, very bad at producing legitimate heirs for the royal family.
Mhm.
Oh, someone mentioned Ireland invades. That would be nice. Give Ireland a chance finally to beat up on England. I
Yeah.
approve of that theory. I strongly approve of that theory.
I had flashbacks to Stephen is my name. I'm the most wanted man on my island. Your island.
Oh, there you go. So this does happen in the book where Bingley comes back and patches things up with Jane, and she very enthusiastically takes him back because they were separated by misinformation, not lack of love.
Mhm.
And Elizabeth just did a good job of conveniently being the last one to leave the room. Very smooth, very, very smooth on her part.
Yeah. So, like, did she know he survived or not? You couldn't tell.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, presumably they both got taken back to Rosings, so she would have known he was
Mhm.
alive. But yeah, I feel like it would have worked out better. Just have him wake up on the bridge. It's more romantic, demolished bridge, smoke in the air, zombie carcasses falling into the chasm. You know.
Yeah. Get up with no
Again,
major
but one
serious
word from you
injury.
now will silence me on the subject forever. Like he works up the courage to you know, tell her one more time. He's like, my feelings haven't changed. And then she says, well, mine have. I think you're great now. So, um, and they both overcome their pride and their prejudices.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't like this. So the half in anguish, half in hope, that's stolen from Persuasion. Do not steal Captain Wentworth's words. No, 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 no. No. No, those words belong to Captain Wentworth. That's I'd say if you only ever read for you, I mean, for
Mhm.
other people I might make a recommendation that was different, but if you, Miguel, only ever read one Jane Austen book, I think you personally should go for Persuasion. I think the
Okay.
military stuff in it you would find really interesting. It's more mature. It's sadder, but yeah, I really like
Mm.
Persuasion, but
Yeah.
Mr. Darcy shouldn't be speaking Captain Wentworth's words. No, no, no.
So the one where he says, I ask with
Half
hope
in anguish,
at
half in hope. Yeah.
right.
It's also weird. I know why they did this because they already had him, but Mr. Collins would not have been the one to marry at the double wedding.
Mhm.
That would. Mm,
Right. Well, see, like I saw it when he tells that to her as him being more vulnerable. Like, I'm not asking you because I think you owe me oh, and like the way
yeah.
he says, like, will you be? That's what I noticed. Will you allow me to be your husband? So he
Yes.
switches. He
Yeah.
switches that to give
Yes.
to
And which
put
shows the correct relationship, right? Like,
right.
because if you're actually in love, if you're actually building a relationship, both party gives to the other. And it's not about you expecting, I mean, obviously, you have standards and expectations and all of that, but without having it in your mind that your first job is to give, it's not
Right.
going to work out very well. I love the line. I wonder if that was an ad lib or just Matt Smith delivered that so well. He goes, "You may now kiss Mr. Darcy." That was so funny.
Right.
It's like, everybody wanting to kiss Mr. Darcy is a very standard trope for, everyone likes Mr. Darcy. But yeah, so one thing I noticed is so Sue Baden Powell is one of the producers on this, and she's
Hmm.
part of the Baden Powell family, descendants of Lord Baden Powell, the founder of Boy Scouts.
Oh, okay.
So one of his descendants is now off in LA as a film producer. And there's a mid-credits scene that comes up in a bit, which I think I don't know, it is funny on its own. Maybe they were also hoping to set up for a sequel.
Are there sequels to the books in the sense of the zombie
No.
ones? No, just
No,
one.
so sequels weren't really as much of a thing with sort of the Georgian and Victorian period 3-volume novel. They did sometimes happen. Like Louisa May Alcott wrote a sequel to Little Women called Little Men, which was not as good. Uh, Typical of sequels, but no, Jane Austen didn't. She didn't actually publish that many novels, and then she was 41 when she died. So it's so sad to think of what we didn't get because she died so young.
So when did she write Pride and Prejudice as age wise, or before? How many years before she
Um,
died?
so okay, so here come the zombies. I do love that. So he's replaced his arm. You see with like this kind of metal spike thing. That's fantastic. So Jane Austen started working. She wrote from a very young age. We actually have some of the fun stuff she wrote as a teenager. If you want to check one out that's short and fun to read, she wrote A History of England when she was like 16, and it's
Oh
totally
wow.
sarcastic, not historically accurate at all. Um, and it's just kind of like taking the Mickey out of history almost. So that was really fun. She wrote all kinds of stuff, but her main novels that people read, there's Pride and Prejudice, Emma, Persuasion, Mansfield Park, and Sense and Sensibility. There are
Yeah,
a few other things she wrote, but those are like the big ones.
yeah.
But
I
there
just
there
looked.
were drafts that she worked on kind of in her teens and 20s, and then she was more in her 30s when she was properly publishing novels. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I just looked it up on Wikipedia. Yeah, Sense and Sensibility is 1811, Pride and Prejudice 1813, Mansfield Park in 1814, Emma in 1816, and then you get Northanger Abbey
yeah.
after she had died, and then Persuasion 1818, and then Lady Susan 1871. Actually, that's eight.
Lady Susan's an interesting one. Kind of off topic for us now. That they did a version of that one as a film, but anyway. So
So so
what
from
did
my
you think
understanding,
of as far as what you got of the Austen stuff? What did you think of it?
um, I liked it because again I had always presumed that the prize in her novels and in the movies that it was very serious, proper. Yes, there's going to be that relationship dynamic of marriage and the hate love relationship. I just it had never crossed my mind that there's a level of humor or wit to her writings or in again I haven't seen the other movies of her, but I just didn't understand that there was that level of wit and snappiness back and forth. I just thought it was very Victorian proper, you know, drama.
Yeah. Well, and I mean,
So,
I think that makes sense. Like that is a prejudice that I think is justified because just like there are a lot of stuffy costume dramas. And so if you're not familiar with Jane Austen's writing, it would be easy to assume that it was stuffy and proper and boring. But quite a lot of what her writing deals with is how fed up people get when society is too constraining, or why are there
mhm.
so many rules, or why can't I just do what I want? And she is really, really funny. So but yeah, no, that movie is so Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is schlocky. It's fun. I enjoyed the novel when it came out. I mostly managed to reread it before this, but I didn't have enough time to, I kind of burned through it. But I think I'd be fun to sit down and properly reread it again because I do remember enjoying it. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah. You have a
let's see what's
question
any other
that.
comment here. Other than this film, what's the best adaptation of one of her novels in series or movie form? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I can get myself in big trouble with Jane Austen fans here. So
I'm,
the 1995 Pride and Prejudice is widely regarded as it's the most beloved. And I think because it's a mini series, it actually has time to get into like the side characters and side plots so that things get developed more properly. The 2005 Pride and Prejudice, I didn't like at all because it was so rushed. They had to condense it down so hard. And then they made a couple of character moment choices in there where I was just like, no, this is wrong. Um, the hair and costumes in that one is all wrong too. I have to say, I really, really like the Sense and Sensibility that was directed by Ong Lee and stars Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet. Uh, that one, now everyone in that movie is at least 10 years too old for the roles that they're playing. Like I was saying earlier in this stream that's a common problem in these sort of like highbrow costume dramas is just that like the actors are too old, but you're able to overlook it because they play the parts so well. And Ang Lee really, really just beautifully shot that film. The visuals in it are really nice. So I'd say those are
mm,
probably my two favorite. My favorite just adaptation of a Jane Austen book is Clueless. which is an adaptation. Well, it's an adaptation of Emma. So it takes the plot and characters from Emma and drops them in 1990s Beverly Hills. So it is the story of Emma, which is funny because I actually don't like the novel Emma very much. She's just kind of this like dumb rich brat, but she's played with such warmth and heart by Alicia Silverstone, and it's so fun and playful in Clueless. So I really, really love Clueless. That's my favorite interpretation of an Austen novel. It's not a straight adaptation. It's a reimagining of it, but it's very, very effective. So.
I didn't know.
How about you, Miguel?
Know,
what's your favorite Jane Austen movie?
My favorite Jane Austen. I would have to say, since I did not know that Clueless was based on, I would have to choose that one because
All right, well,
I really don't know. I just know that, looking it up, and the 1995 one had a younger Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's what made him a celebrity. Like there was that mini series was like what made Colin Firth internationally known. He is Mr. Darcy.
Hugh Jackman is the only Wolverine that ever be, right? Did I just lose you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. I just came back. So you're saying just like Hugh Jackman is Wolverine?
Yeah. So
okay,
I guess Colin
so
Firth
this is what I
Mr.
felt like.
Darcy.
With all due respect to Matthew McFadden, who's a very good actor, it was just like, you're not Mr. Darcy. And it would be like it's watching someone else take on the role of Wolverine. When that happens, maybe I don't think they should do that for at least like 20 years because people will be like, all the old folks like us will be like, not my Wolverine. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of what it felt like. But yeah. Anyway, well, thanks. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for those of you who joined in, and then we'll post this up later so people can watch it as a commentary track later. And I'd love to hear more suggestions for other films based on books that kids would read. And the way I define children's literature is anything that a school age kid would read. So kind of like kindergarten up through just before you go to university or leave high school. So yeah, if you've got suggestions, leave them in the comments, and I'd like to do one next month. So hopefully we'll see you all soon. And thanks for joining, Miguel. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun. It was good. Thank you.
All right. Okay. See you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.